Hi, Clémence.
Hello, Melissa.
Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to FIAF Talks, Beauty and Wellbeing During a Lockdown. I'm Melissa Ceria, and I'm delighted to be joined here today in conversation with Clémence von Mueffling. We're going to wait another minute just to make sure that people are still logging on and answering the quick poll that are on their screens. But Clémence, it's wonderful to see you, and how are you?
Very well, thank you, Melissa. It's always very happy to be with the FIAF team and audience. And it's sunny today in New York, which I have.
You're in New York City.
Yes, I'm in Manhattan, and it's a beautiful day. Feels like spring today.
That's great. That's wonderful. I'm not that far away from you, but I'm also sort of a native New Yorker, and it's nice to be here in conversation with you. I'm excited about this talk, and I know that there are many people who will have questions for you following our conversation, because we're going to be able to talk about a number of different things tied to beauty and well-being. So, well, thank you so much again for joining us this afternoon. For those of you who are just tuning in, welcome to FIAF, FIAF Talks, Beauty and Wellbeing During a Lockdown with Clémence von Mueffling. I'm Melissa Ceria, and I'm glad to see so many familiar faces here today. It's really nice to reconnect with you, and I hope that you're all well. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, a very warm welcome. I know that you can't all see one another, but we are about 170 here, and we look forward to sharing this conversation with you and answering your questions following this talk. Thank you also to those of you who kindly made a donation while signing up for this event. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. And it will help FIAF to continue to produce live events with exceptional speakers. And if you haven't had the opportunity and can do so, please consider making a donation after our talk. Today, I am delighted to welcome Clémence von Mueffling, founder of the acclaimed online magazine Beauty and Wellbeing, and the author of the book Ageless Beauty, The French Way, Secrets from 3 generations of French beauty editors. Clémence was born and raised in Paris. Both her mother and her grandmother were beauty editors at French Vogue. Clémence launched her own career in the beauty industry, working for Clarins, Puig, Dior, and before turning her attention to journalism. Today's talk really stems from a phone call that we had, Clémence, last week, about the many responsibilities that we hold during this difficult time. Most importantly, caring for our loved ones, our neighbors, and members of our community. But in addition to that, Clémence says that it is also important to care for ourselves. And so we're going to explore today quick beauty routines that we can do at home that will help us feel our best. And we'll cover 3 main areas: the body, the face, and hair, which I really need some help with. So our conversation will last approximately 20 minutes, followed by a Q&A. Please post your questions here in the chat section, and we hope to answer as many as possible at the end of this conversation. So Clémence, let's start. For the past few weeks, we have been washing our hands incessantly when we talk about caring for our bodies. Perhaps we should start with our hands.
Yes, thank you, Melissa. That's a very good question. And many women have been contacting me through beauty and well-being, and even friends asking me, what can I do these days? My hands, are so dehydrated from all those products and that I am using, whether it's cleaning the house, cleaning everything that you receive. So I think a good start point is to how could you maintain hydration, but also a good manicure at home. So I'm going to sort of take you through like the different steps. And this does not take a lot of time. It's just a few minutes from our routine that we have now, given that we don't have any more like a commute, maybe to go to work in the morning or dropping children off to school. So I would suggest to start with first removing your old nail polish with a thin cotton. That makes that's like one of the little pro tip I've learned. You just press on the nail about 10 seconds to really let the nail polish remover sort of, do its job first, and without acetone, if you can choose one without acetone. And then you just remove it vertically so that the nail polish doesn't go everywhere. And what you can also do is...
Sorry, does that avoid also the acetone reaching onto your cuticles? Is that why?
As well, also, and especially if you have like like a red nail polish, it will really avoid having all that reds everywhere. Right. And what I have learned when I was interviewing this incredible nail specialist, manicure specialist in Paris, she's the manicurist of Catherine Deneuve. She was saying to really hydrate your nails, you can just put a little bit of cream in the palm of your hands, and then you just do this movement to really have the cream go and penetrate, around your cuticles, on the nail beds. This is very effective. And if you don't have time right now, and if you don't feel like putting on any nail polish, one thing that I would recommend is to use a nail buffer. You have different types. You have like a sort of a traditional, we call it the chamois nail buffer, like this, or just,
and does that
one of
the surface of your nail, Clémence? What exactly does it do?
It really makes the surface of the nail looking very clean, like really shining, almost like if you had nail polish on. So then, it's sort of like low maintenance for at least a few days. You don't have to think about it too much. I have prepared for our audience today. I can see we have now over 200 people. This is very exciting. So I have prepared by 5:30 p.m. on beautyandwellbeing.com, there is going to be an article listing all of these products, all of these tools that that we're going to keep mentioning throughout our talk.
Fantastic. So people can take notes, but they also can go to the Beauty and Wellbeing website and get a comprehensive sort of list of recommendations that you're sharing with us today.
Yes.
Excellent. Do you do your own manicure, Clémence? Is that something that you do at home?
So these days, yes. I used to do it many years ago, and then becoming a New Yorker, I became a bit more lazy with all these nail salons. But I'm back at, my old routine, and, it's just something, it's actually quite, easy, and keeping your nails short, using a nail file that, actually I brought one to show you, but like a glass nail file is a great way to do it as well. So keeping nails short, and then having nail brush. We were talking about that the other day, but we're really talking about hygiene these days, and
yes,
washing
absolutely.
your hands is one thing, but really having a nail brush handy is just keeping that also very clean.
So making sure that we brush under the nail, around the nail, and
yes.
different parts of our
yes.
hands that are in contact with different materials.
Absolutely.
Okay, so keeping a small kit of that maybe in one room or near a sink is helpful.
Yes.
When we spoke as well, you talked about the importance of taking care of our skin overall. You have discovered dry brushing. Tell us a little bit about that and the benefits of it, not just for our skin, but also for our well-being and our bodies.
Absolutely, absolutely. So dry brushing is something that I have discovered these past few years. It's extremely good because it really helps also your body to detoxify. So it has so many benefits. First, well, when to dry brush? You should dry brush, I would say maybe 3 times a week. You could do it also every day. Some people really are addicted to it. You should do it before taking your shower, because when you dry brush, you really remove all that the dry skin, especially right now, it's the end of the winter. The weather was very, cold and dry, so it's really perfect to do it. When you do it, it's going to activate the circulation. So it's really a boost also for your immune system. It stimulates your immune system, and you should always do it. So starting from your feet and your ankles, and sort of working your way upward. You want to bring the blood back to the heart. So it's really good for your heart because you are helping all that blood flow going back to the heart. So you start all along your legs, really around your thighs, this area that then, we're sitting a lot at work. I mean, these days, maybe we're even more, sitting even more. We cannot go out as much. So really working around the thighs is really, really great. Once you reach the abdomen, I would, and the décolleté as well, I would recommend to sort of lighten up a little bit the pressure. For the abdomen, always go clockwise because that is the same as the digestion.
All right, so if we're looking at our own, the top of our stomach, clockwise, left,
exactly.
right, is that correct?
Exactly, so you go left, down, 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 go back up on the right side and that, exactly. So
I think a lot of people might say that this is the area also where they hold tension.
Yes.
And at times like these,
absolutely,
we must be gentle with that area, but also acknowledge it and maybe massage it gently. Is that something that you would recommend?
Yes, because we are holding right now, a lot of tension, anxiety. So this is going to really, really help. I mean, your body will thank you, really, so by doing that, and you will see how, you're going to feel so much better. For your arms, you start from the hands and you really go down again, bringing down the blood back to the heart. And all this area around the décolleté, around the armpits also is very, very important. And I have brought, just to show, again, I'm going to be recommending on beautyandwellbeing.com the list of the products, but this is what it looks like. I like this one because it has a long handle so that you can reach your back. And it's, again, this is something, it's low maintenance, easy to incorporate. After you can have, after your shower, if you can finish your shower with a cold shower, maybe for a minute at the end, this is something I started to implement during confinement. I thought, it's now or never.
So you've introduced this into your routine. I'm not as brave as you are. How does that work? You wrap up your shower, you turn the knob to the coldest.
Exactly, and I'm like, now it's time to wake up and, sort of give that little boost to the body. And right now, everything I can do that can help boost my immune system is important. It's not just taking vitamins and eating healthy and trying to sleep well, but all these things also are very good to help and boost your immune system.
There's the cold water, Clémence. How do you feel after that? It literally gives you a jolt of energy.
Totally. And also, it's sometimes it's not always easy in the morning. This is the 5th week. There is this sort of routine. It's not as easy, to not see people and go out. And so this suddenly, it really gives you also, it energizes you, but there's something you feel much more positive. So I think it really has an impact to me personally, the brain sort of feels, it makes you look at the bright side of things, which we need right now more than ever.
Absolutely. So, taking care of ourselves first thing in the morning, the dry brushing, also some massage.
Yes.
Our lymph nodes are in this area as well, gently patting through. What are some of the areas that we should be gentle with in addition to our abdomen when we're sort of, maybe would you recommend an oil afterwards, or what is the best sort of way to proceed after the dry brushing to make sure that we are, our skin is sort of well hydrated?
Yes, absolutely. That's a good point. We have to, after, of course, not skip that part of hydrating the body. And again, keeping that sort of upward movement. And it is a good time also to massage your feet. We shouldn't forget that part of our body. It is important to also massage, the toes, around the foot, the ankle, bring again that sort of movement of, around the ankle and le mollet. That's for
the calves, absolutely.
The calves. So voilà, that's a good French word that our friends can. But yes, so this is great. And if you are going to do maybe just a few tips, if you are going to also take care of your feet and want to do a little bit of an at-home pedicure, after the shower is a good time, maybe with a little cuticle stick, maybe to sort of press back a little bit the cuticles. And I just interviewed the very famous French pediatrist, Bastien Gonzalez, and he told me this great, what I call pro tip, which is if you have an old toothbrush, do not get rid of it. Keep it and just keep it for your feet. And you can use it to sort of clean up the nail beds of your toes. So this is something you can do after the shower. And again, if you don't have any nail polish anymore, the buffer on the feet is just the best way to keep to give a nice shine to your nails, to your toes, and then it's no maintenance. Then you have just that super nice shine, no nail polish to remove, and it's great. It looks great for at least a week.
Becky in our Q&A here asks, do you use any specific body oils, Clémence? Was there one that you would suggest, maybe an almond or pumpkin, especially as we go into the spring season and we move away from the colder, harsher winter weather?
Yes, so I really like some sweet almond oil. I like it as well because when we will be talking about the hair, that's something also you can use on your hair. I really like so many different types. I love to experiment, and try different brands. There is a great body oil from Caudalie and another one from Clarins. Clarins is always the sort of the feel-good brand for me there. The smell is so invigorating, and so you have all different price points. So that's great about body oils,
Yeah, and you're right. There are many, many different options that are available that you can find. But the sensory part that you just described, the smell, especially now I find, and I wonder if you feel this way too, it's just that moment of relief, that joy of something that smells wonderful, that takes your mind somewhere else perhaps. It's particularly important and something that maybe we take a little bit less for granted.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And really, this is self-care, and it's not about vanity. It's just that self-care that makes you feel so good afterwards.
Moving on to the face, we are at a time right now, as we all know, where because of the environment that we live in, where there are fewer people moving around, traveling, there is less pollution. Can we talk a little bit, because I'd like to sort of move forward before we move towards the audience questions. Masks and face massages, what would you recommend?
Yes. So as you were saying, it's true. There is less pollution. We're wearing less makeup. I mean, our skins are breathing. We are holding stress and tension. So that's why I would really recommend right now to keep your routine of, hydrating your face in the morning, having a good cleanse at night, but trying to find a few minutes for a face mask and for a face massage. So, I'm a big advocate of the face massage. And recently, I was just feeling so tense, and I started my routine. I started to do it like a little bit more often. I was sort of doing it kind of once a week, and right now I'm trying to do it at least 3 times a week. It's only a few minutes. It's free. Anybody can do it. I'm going to show it a little bit right now how to do it.
All right, I'm going to follow you. Let's go. Where do we
So,
start?
on a clean face.
No makeup?
No makeup, clean face, just, maybe you've cleansed your face, put a little bit on of a toner, and then you put either a nice moisturizer or a few drops of oil, and gonna warm up, like that in your hands. First, you apply a bit everywhere. And when I talk about the face, I mean, I'm not stopping here. I include the neck and a little bit of the décolleté. So
Okay.
we're going to start by the first movement, the pincement jaquet, where you're really going to sort of do that little pinching like this. This is so easy, a few minutes. This is going to activate the circulation.
This is what I used to try and do if I had no blush, to try and get pink cheeks.
Exactly, but also it's going to make your skin much more firm. So your skin after a few days is really going to have like almost like a different, just almost going to feel and look different. So more firm, it activates the circulation. By activating the circulation, it activates the production of collagen. So you're going to be doing this always, bringing up. So this is like taking your face to the gym, as
okay.
A good friend of mine who does facials. You're going to massage also just to here under, and then very gently, you are going to press those eyebrows.
Where again, we have pressure points and
exactly
tension here. So really releasing that.
And here, just all along the neck, you can do also those little pincements. And same on your décolleté. So again, you will have all the details in this article I have prepared for our audience. But just a few minutes. Do it, try to do it at least maybe 3 days in a row, and you will see the difference. And if you add maybe a little touch of maybe at-home self-tanner, I like to do that, then you really get that sort of, you get again that glow that, your skin just looks, so much better.
And Clémence, to be clear, because one of our viewers has quite rightly sent in a question that says this, asking, this is appropriate for all ages, correct? She is in her 60s, and she wants to make sure that this is also appropriate for older people who also tend to have maybe more, drier skin.
Yes. So when I would say that if this person here is, as you were saying, I think in her 60s. So for this part, what you do when you are going to massage, you should just hold a little bit the skin up.
Yes.
To help you do your movement.
Okay.
And this is something that someone maybe in their 20s may not need to do, but maybe in your 50s, 60s, maybe this will help also. Just hold holding the skin.
You said also, lighter cream, a little bit of self-tanner if you feel like it, just to give that extra kind of glow.
Yes, and an SPF because we are still allowed to go out. So if you're going to be going out for a walk, taking some fresh air, the sun is out, the spring has started, so maybe starting to use a little SPF right now is good.
And for that that touch that makes you feel good, what about a little lipstick?
Yes, absolutely. I think there is something that is very famous in the in beauty history, which is the lipstick effect. And after every war, after every time there was an economic depression, sales of lipsticks have always gone up. So that really shows that women still want to keep that self-care and a little bit of coquetry.
Absolutely. I will mention just before we move on to hair, because I know that there are a lot of questions on this, they're popping up. And, this is also a good time, as you mentioned, just to clean out your closets as well,
yes.
Work through what is still relevant, what may be a little bit outdated, a good moment to just kind of sort through your beauty closet.
Absolutely. And wash your sponges, makeup sponges, and makeup brushes. A little bit of soapy water, maybe like a little bit of a shampoo mixed with water, and you just wash brushes, sponges, rinse them well, remove excess of water, and then let it air dry, and then they will be just like brand new.
All right, we've seen celebrities recently post Instagram stories about their roots growing out. I think this is, this is a topic that I've seen a number of articles about, and here we have also our fair share of questions about recommendations, Clémence, on what to do with our hair during this time, and in particular, for people who have dark hair. What happens when your gray starts to grow through?
Yes, absolutely. That's a very good question. And it's true that, again, women have been asking me also a lot these questions. And I was very lucky to interview Christophe Robin this week. He's a very famous hair colorist in Paris. And we exchanged on that subject. First of all, right now, it is the time to leave our little bit of our hair alone in terms of, using less heat, tools. So if you want to have a little bit of a wave, maybe just put your hair as a little bun. Maybe you don't have to wash your hair as frequently. I've noticed in America, a lot of women love to wash their hair every day. Well, if you can try to push to every other day or every 3 days, this is great. Don't try to do anything too crazy if you're going to want to touch the color of your hair. There are some great at-home kits right now. Again, I'm going to be sharing on the article on beauty and well-being, like some of the kits that I have tried. So for me, they really are the tried and true ones that I would recommend, that are very subtle. So one is non-permanent coloring gel. It will only hold for like 5 to 7 shampoos. And it's a little gel that you apply on something that looks like this little toothbrush. So you can So this is great for the roots. Exactly. Okay. This is great for the roots. Always pick a shade that is a little bit lighter than your own shade. And when you are going to do your roots, if you really have a lot of roots here in the front, you have to put a very thick, greasy product along your hairline and your temples, and maybe even on the rest of your hair.
To protect it.
Exactly, to protect it. So just apply on your roots. And this product that I recommend, it's only 40 minutes. And as when I was interviewing Christophe, he was saying, and it's only 40 minutes, not 45.
So timing is very important.
Timing is very important, exactly. And this is just 5 to 7 shampoos. So you can't really, if it's not the exact perfect color for you, it will go away very easily. But there is another little product that I want to share with our audience today. If you do not feel like a product that will last like this a few days, there is also, it's mineral powder that comes like this. It's just a little brush, a little powder, and you will just apply it where you have the white. So that will just last for the day. And the result is, I have to say, is really great. So these are some really great products I would recommend.
I have a question that comes to mind, Clémence, as we're talking. For women that work and communicate via Zoom or other online sort of platforms, yes. What are some simple makeup tips that that they can use just to feel that their image is as they wish, and that without having to spend a lot of time putting on makeup?
Yes. So I think these days, a little bit of mascara is, just always, it opens up, your eyes, and it just makes you look more awake. And you don't actually need to put that much, just maybe a little bit of foundation, some blush, um, I think for Zoom. And for your hair, I would say that if you have like a hair, like little oil for hair or a little pomade, like something a little bit greasy, just to make sure your hair are all in place. I would say this is one of the thing I would recommend. Like today, to have this little wave, I just washed my hair this morning and I keep them as little bun, and by the time I remove the bun, so no need to sort of use any also hair curler, or it's a great time to let our hair also breathe. Same for our eyelashes, a lot of people use a lot of um, like fake lashes, extensions, a lot of waterproof mascara. So right now is a great time also for our eyelashes to rebuild them. There are some great products that you can apply in the evening that will really help the growth of the eyelash.
We only have a few minutes left, Clémence, and
yes.
I just want to say to all of our viewers here, because there are so many wonderful questions for you, that we're going to answer a few more here quickly, but they can also reach out to you via your website, presumably, if they have extra questions. So fear not. Clémence will hopefully be able to answer some of your extra questions. But before we conclude in the next 5 minutes, a couple of questions from Meredith Wing. What quarantine foods besides water are good for maintaining glow? What foods are good while we're in quarantine
for
maintaining glow?
Yes, absolutely. So, so right now we have, all types of food that, I think a variety, like, your plate has to look colorful when you eat. I feel that if you are right now in New York or around New York, we're still very lucky. I feel that there is access to a lot of things, avocados, sweet potatoes. We still have like beans and black beans. We still have some fruits. I've seen some markets had some great like apples. A bit of a celery juice in the morning is great to detoxify and to give that glow. There are different recipes. I don't have an extractor, so like my celery juice is sort of like not always the best, but I mix it with a bit of lemon juice or a little bit of ginger, and this is like that's definitely a go-to vegetable to give you a glow.
Okay, we're going to take one more question, Clémence, and it is a question sort of about the body. What is the difference between dry brushing and exfoliating, for example, on the face? Would you recommend an exfoliator as opposed to dry brushing, for example, or on other parts of the body?
Yes, so there are some dry brushes for the face. There are very little. You can do that once in a while, but that's because the texture, the skin on our face is so delicate. I never recommend harsh treatments or harsh things on the face. And especially right now, the sun is out, it is getting warmer. So you don't want to do anything that is too harsh on the face when the sun is out, because otherwise you might get, more sunspots. So hyperpigmentation.
So still being careful about the sunlight.
Still being careful, and still being careful, definitely in that case with a scrub. Right now I would do a good scrub on the feet.
Absolutely. And it goes without saying, Clémence, before we sign off, the importance of sleep and rest when we can, really is some of the underlying benefits of really staying well and strong during this period.
Absolutely. It's true, we're not going out at night. If you can have, a lighter meal in the evening, we're not tempted to have, any, too many drinks, in the evening. So usually all these things should help to have, actually a better night's sleep. And we should try to make the most of that, try to get more hours
of sleep. Clémence, thank you so much. I want to thank you for your time and excellent advice, more of which, as we mentioned earlier, will be available on Clémence's website, Beauty and Wellbeing. Please don't hesitate also perhaps to email her questions there. I'm sure she would be happy to answer those questions. Thanks to all of you for attending. It's really nice to connect with you here. We hope you'll be able to join us again this Thursday, April 16th at 5 p.m. for an exciting Q&A with the celebrated film director Clément Cogidor on his documentary Braguinot. Visit FIAF's website and you can watch Braguinot for free, and you can also RSVP there. So if you enjoyed this conversation and you're able to, please consider making a donation to FIAF or to join FIAF even as a member. We have a lot of programs online, and there will be more of these talks of FIAF à la maison, at home. Your gift will go directly to supporting our artists, our teachers, and our staff. So thank you, and please take a second to fill out our final poll. Let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear from next. Clémence von Mueffling, thank you so much for joining us today.
Melissa, merci. Merci.